All right, welcome to another edition of the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Randy Zelia from Back Sports Page.
I'm Marito Rivera from Level 1 Games right here. Look at it.
I love it. I love it. And big guest today, big guest.
Dudes, chicks, listen, if you live in the Northeast and you've gone to any type of wrestling shows, you will know this name. From the PCA, he is your guiding light, A.J Pan. We are so psyched to have him on, and we had a great back and forth with him. We haven't had a manager on this show yet, and this is the first one we've had. And what's funny is that we were supposed to meet up years ago. Like we run in the same circles, and yet I haven't met him till just now. So it's pretty crazy. What do you think about that, Randy?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to see how much fun we've had with them, and we hope you guys enjoy it and have as much fun listening as we did recording it. So,
we're gonna keep it short. We're gonna let you guys in. So we talked a lot. So enjoy.
All right,
welcome. Welcome. I'm taking it, Randy. See, we just talked about this. Welcome to the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast. Today we have the leader. Could I call you the leader of PCA, or the guy
leader,
that runs
the CEO?
The CEO.
Right now, I am the guiding light. Your guiding light.
Come on, you just stole my next line. I was about to say that. The guiding light, AJ Pan. AJ, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here with you guys. Looking forward to a fun time. Just dealing with this pandemic, but trying to keep it.
Pandemic and all this goddamn snow.
I'm over this snow already.
Yeah, me too.
Along with everything else, we have all this snow. I'm over it. I'm over all this.
Well,
exactly.
I got to tell you, the pandemic has, I think, had an effect on everybody. Just for the record, when this pandemic started, M had hair. Okay, now look at him.
Yeah, it started when I was 24, apparently. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, that was my one. AJ, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, brother. If it wasn't for M and like Carlos and a couple of the other guys, like I think I'd probably still be watching and being like, villainized for watching WWE all the time. And then like AW came around and I was learning about not only more of the independents, because I remember watching independents back in the day, going to live events, but man, like it's a whole nother world, and it's DIY to the full effect, being able to do it yourself. And man, just looking back at your story and some of the things that you did and some of your accomplishments, the first question from my part is, you went to LaSalle University. How were you, first off, what did you study in school? And when you graduated, how were you able to transition from what you learned in school into the wrestling business?
Well, it was LaSalle Academy, so just high school. I didn't really go to college. I went to work after high school. So
okay.
I just always been into, since I was, I want to say 10 years old. WrestleMania 6 was my first Mania. So
okay.
Been into wrestling since then. And I just really wanted to find a way into the business. So even like in high school, I wrote for the school newspaper, did pro wrestling articles every month, and got readership up there. And I ended up on the high school yearbook. I tried to throw in little wrestling quotes and little quizzes here and there, so they wouldn't get, principals wouldn't get, the dean wouldn't get too mad, but enough to get people engaged. And just after that, during high school, I went to a bunch of independent shows. I went to the ECW arena a bunch of times, and when they were in Queens. So just even from there, I offered, my help. I got friendly with the person who was in charge of merchandising. And I'm like, is there anything I could do? It's like, do you want to help unload trucks? If you want to help sell shirts with us, more than welcome to do that. And that helped get my foot in the door. Let
me ask you. So since we're on the topic of you being young and impressionable, when did you decide, listen, I'm going to get in that ring? Because I don't know if Carlos told you, I trained a bit when we were younger. And I know that, listen, you probably have been in front of like a million people compared to me, but it was still such an adrenaline rush, like I think the most people I had like 150 maybe, and that was like on a big show, and of course it was my first one. But tell me, like, when did you go, you know what, I see that guy over there bleeding because you were in the ECW arena. I see that guy bleeding. Somebody hit him with a Nintendo. I want to do that because you went to be a pro wrestler first, right? And then eventually we transitioned into the manager role and some commentary here and there.
No, I always wanted to be a manager. So I started. I actually started off ring announcing.
Okay.
Yeah, ring announcing was besides doing a couple of things backstage here and there. It was ring announcing first. And then after a while, I was just like, can I have a shot at managing? I think, give me a shot on a small show. Let's see how it works. And of course, Carlos, a good friend of ours, Latin Rage. Yeah. He was the first guy I managed along with Mike Law, whose shirt you're wearing. So Carlos is one of the first original member of the PC. PC back then, now the PCA.
Okay.
Well, when I was young, I always was when I was younger, I wanted to be kind of like either a comic or an entertainer in some way. But once I saw wrestling, I want to do something in this. And Bobby Heenan became my inspiration.
Everybody's for manager.
You're jumping ahead of me, man. You're taking all my questions. Like that was my next question. Like, what were your inspirations? And Bobby Heenan was such you don't see that, and that's one of the things that you don't see anymore. It's like the role of the manager that it's been diminished over the years. Bobby Heenan is a perfect example of a quintessential manager. Like you think manager, you think of Bobby Heenan. So that you got some great inspiration, dude.
Yeah, no, so and his commentary too. So and the way he balanced it, I'm like, this is who I could see myself. Like, I didn't see myself as WWF champion. I saw myself as Bobby Heenan, talking for the big guys and helping them get over and doing stuff like that. So
you have a favorite Bobby Heenan line?
Awesome.
I got one.
A friend in need is a pest. That's one. Yeah, that's one of my go-to. And the other favorite is when something's wrong, and it's like, hey, it could be worse. That could have been me.
my favorite too. My favorite too was my. I get a lot of fan mail. My mailman is now Hunchback, and then the other one he said is, if you listen to me, you go to the top. You don't listen to me, you're never heard from again.
Yes.
Could you tell me a couple of places where did you start doing the commentary? And eventually you did wrestle, right? You were in a tag team. You won the championship.
Yeah, I mean, it was a couple of. I was basically just thrown into stuff. It's like comedy. But I turned. Yeah, I was again. I started officially in 2000. So this year in September will be my 20th anniversary.
Wow.
Started off September. September of 2001. I started off ring announcing, and this all coming IWF. That was Mike Hazardous, Spiral, all those guys, Carlos. So started off there, and it's been going from there with FWE, Family Wrestling Entertainment. I've worked a lot of stuff with them, ECWA. BCW now, and a couple of others here and there, but in the ring. So FWE is my first. All of a sudden, so I get a call one day from Jordan, the promoter, and he's like, "Hey, so how did you want me in the Rumble?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "We came with a fun spot for you." I'm like, I don't. No, we'll make it work. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna trust you guys. It's like, no. We'll get input from believe me, you tell us what you feel comfortable with, we'll work with it. So I'm like, all right. And the whole day, nobody knew anything except it was with Jay Lethal. He's the only one I spoke to because I had a spot with him. So I remember in the ring, it was Charlie Haas and Eric Young, and they were doing an angle at the time. They were stealing the world title, literally stealing the title from each other. So they both eliminated each other, and the ring is empty. Countdown goes on, and all of a sudden my music hits, and everybody's looking around what the hell's what happened? So I look around, I start taking off my tie, my jacket, my dress shirt, and I have a t-shirt underneath. I have sweatpants under my dress pants, and I run into the ring, cheering. I got this. Nobody's gonna stop me. Nobody's in the ring. Then Lethal's music hits, and I'm like,
you should have done a Lawler, just hide underneath the ring. You mentioned FWE, and you had a lot of hats there. You were a talent agent. You were doing some booking and handling media relations. Was it difficult, and as well as doing some announcing there, was it difficult to sort of have multiple roles and at some points have to work with talent, and then also have to work with the media and doing some commentary. You had a lot of hats, which a lot of independent people do. How were you able to balance that? What was the feeling? Did you ever feel like at any point with that many responsibilities, you had to walk on eggshells?
It was stressful at times. Luckily, luckily and unluckily, sometimes my personality, I just get very frustrated. So I blew up. Even I love Jordan to this day, but we just blew up at each other a lot of times. But in the end, we all knew we were working for the same goal to make the product better. But there are plenty of times where he's calling me for one thing, I'm trying to put out 2 other fires, and he's like, "Listen," I'm like, "You need to fucking calm down, because I'm doing this right." And like even the rest of you like, "You need to chill. He does a lot of fucking shit for you. Relax." So, but it was stressful at time, because and FWE was at the time, but I will say, I think we kickstarted wrestling back in the New York scene, and like we had loaded cards. Like we weren't dealing with just the local guys. We had guys like Carlito, John Morrison, Evilise Velez, Angelina Love. So dealing with all those personalities as well, and running around getting media interviews into the show, then trying to get all the we have the run sheet 2 days ago. Nope, this all changed. This changed. We're doing this now. Sometimes at intermission, I would get somebody pulling me aside, like, "So what are we doing in our match?" "What do you mean? What do you do? Nobody told us anything." So,
Jesus.
So I'm like, "We got 5 minutes. I got to run back." I'm like, "All right, here, let's sit down in the corner and figure out what we're gonna do." All right. But it was well, luckily I was younger back then, but but it was a great learning experience. It's taken me so much farther in my my career. So I'm definitely thankful now that I had that opportunity for 5 years.
Was it difficult to earn the talent's trust with that in that motion, especially since you were also a talent as well while handling behind the scenes?
Yes and no. Yes, because I wasn't pretty much an unknown to some of the bigger guys. Some obviously knew me from years before, like when I did stuff with ECW and at conventions, I was able to get friendly with a lot of people, but not in this aspect. But then when they saw how I handled myself amongst the other people who were in charge, sometimes when they were a little frazzled, and I would come at them with more professionalism and clarity with certain ideas. Most a lot of times, like some of them. That's how I became an agent too with certain matches, because they would the girls would call me over at some point, and they're like, "We trust you. Can you come and help us with what we're doing here?" And that's how it grew into there. We're like, then it comes to me, "Listen, they didn't tell us what we're doing. Please help us with our." "Okay, let's sit down and do this." So
See, and that's the thing, is that when you put out a lot of fires, man, you gain a lot of respect out there.
Yeah.
So
no, definitely.
well done, dude. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, you're welcome. One of the things I wanted to ask you was PCA, man. Like, what is that, and who are the members, and how did you deal with them? How did you interact, and how did you feel about dealing with them? Because some people are easier than others.
So the PC first started off as PC Pan Corp, and then it evolved into the PCA, the Pan Corp agency. Generally, I mean, it started as pretty much like a shoot. Like it's just people. We'll start off with me and Carlos and Mike Law, because Mike Law was one of the first people I actually met in IWF. We were the idiots who were the first to the building at like 10, 11 a.m., standing there like idiots. But we became friends, and he's one of my best friends to date. But it started out like me and him and Carlos, and just guys who I thought were overlooked, underutilized. And I wanted to help give them a voice and get, whatever little bit I could add to their talent that maybe that was missing, I would help, either talk to management or just, add to their characters. So started off with them. One of the first guys in IWF I fell in love with watching was the late Spiral, Brandon Kaplan.
Spiral was a very good wrestler, dude. I remember. Bro.
Yeah, great wrestler and just so natural charisma. And he was just a great guy. But seeing the way he came to do those moves, plus he had a character. Yeah. And just so much natural charisma, to see that at that level, it's like, holy shit, this guy is fantastic. And I would always just talk to him briefly. I'm just dude, you're this guy's living for you, bro. And that's always why don't you go? Why don't you come out with me one day? I used to work with. I'm yeah, dude, I would love for you to join the PCA. So then and then it just grew into, which it worked. That's why I started. Then it grew to an agency, so it gives me leeway when I have so many different members, and it grew to so many, but interchangeable if I needed to be for different companies. So
That is awesome, dude.
I have to ask too. I know back in the day you were doing very much with DJing and karaoke. How are you able to take those skills and put them into the wrestling business? I know that feels like it's a lead into something else. You take that experience, learn to something else. Can you talk about that and how that helped you?
I mean, I was still doing the wrestling at the time while I was, DJing and, doing the bartending stuff and working bar management. And I think they go hand in hand. I mean, even like I think I read something not too long ago, Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, what it said, wrestling is gonna be wrestling, and it has it's basically the same elements of like rock and roll. Like go to a Kiss concert, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Like they play the same sets, but that's what you want to hear, and it's the same thing you want. And that's what like working at a bar. So it kind of goes hand in hand with like a wrestling. I think of wrestling fans, wrestling persona. Like you have to project something. So and like everything in good wrestling, A.J Pan is an extension of who I am in reality. It's just I could turn it up and be more of an asshole. But that's pretty much me. So I think it's getting to do that on the side helped me get a little bit more comfortable too and try out some things there, and I could let myself loose.
As long as you weren't using the DJ gimmick, you never want to be that guy sitting in there just trying to get the hands going and everything like that.
That would be terrible. Like
after Jersey Shore, I did come because I'm Italian. So when I did I did one match, I came out with the whole green sweatsuit and the headband, and everybody else is coming out. I swab doing punches. I'm like,
have a Snooki lookalike with you.
Mac, bob and weave. So
you're gonna bring the glow stick.
That's too much. That's too far.
Can you talk about the Breed combination wrestling, the 5-barrel wrestling, and taking over and doing some commentary role? What was it like having to tell the story of characters in the ring, and not being about you, but being what's going on in the ring and being able to tell that story as a commentator? What was that like for you? Was it difficult making sort of that transition, because you're doing managing at that point, but now you're doing commentary? What was that like for you at that point?
5 Barrels was the main one that I just did commentary. I didn't manage, and once in a while I would host the shows when they didn't have a ring announcer. So I said, well, I'm still a character, so can I host it? Like, yeah, whatever. But doing commentary, again, like when I saw Bobby Heenan, that's originally kind of what I wanted to do, more commentary. So I took it as a great challenge, and I knew a lot of people to begin with, thankfully, who were on the card. So I could bring in my past relationships there, and I also knew what they've done in certain other companies, so I could bring that to the table and help develop, because that's it's an unsung, I think, trait of a lot of color commentators and play-by-play people, that they really help get the story across. And even certain people who may not get as much mic time or TV time, you could get the story from a Michael Cole, a Jim Ross, you get to know these people a little bit better. So that's our jobs doing that. So and help, put more impact on what's going on in the match. So it was, I loved it. I still enjoy doing color commentary. It's great. And when you could be a heel color commentator, it's awesome, because you could throw in, you could throw in whatever, and you can't get, heat for it.
Dude, I have a soft spot for heels, right? Like,
yes.
well, it's funny you say that too, because what is one of my favorite Bobby Heenan lines was he was doing a Bret Hart match, and he had his brother Bruce there. He was like, "You had 9 months to name a kid, and Bruce was the best you came up with."
My favorite Heenan is the Royal Rumble when Flair won it.
Oh God, that was the what?
And the spot when Piper comes in, that's my favorite.
He's like, "Oh
he
no!"
starts hitting the other guy, and yes, it's a kill. It's always a kill. And then he gets Flair. It's a skirt. It's damn you. It's a skirt. The way he flipped that in like 30, 45 seconds,
No,
to this day, my favorite line.
And no, actually the best line was, it's halfway through the Rumble, the boss man goes over top rope right before Piper comes up. You just give it to Flair now. Just give it to Flair now.
Dude, that was an absolute legend, man.
Yes.
I cannot stress that enough. One of the things I wanted to mention, and this is the craziest thing in life, is that we live in this huge city, right? New York City.
Yes.
And yet we're separated by what, 6 degrees? What's the how's it going? 6 degrees? Yeah, right. So I'm gonna flash you back a little bit, all right?
Okay.
This is when I was still in training. I was a young up and coming. I was gonna make it I was gonna be world champion. and we had the
You got-
opportunity to meet a certain wrestler, and I was
Yes.
going to go in there and not mark out, right? We all know that M was not going to go and mark out. So we go in there, and there was another guy. I don't know who it is, but he had long hair, right? Did he have long hair back there?
Not at the
But I
time,
remember.
no.
Not
No.
at the time. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Well,
yeah. He had the DA still going.
all right. So here we are back in what, 97, 98?
97, 98, I think.
98,
So,
right?
yeah.
We're on Good Day, New York.
Yes.
And we are at one of the gyms downtown. Whose gym was it? I can't remember. I know
I can't
Bruce
remember
Richard was
offhand.
there and Meat was there. And then we finally meet the man, the myth, the legend himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then what happens? They go and they do a contest. And they do a contest to see who could do the best Stone Cold. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm not doing no Stone Cold. I'm my own character. Fuck this. This ain't happening. So they pan to me and they're like, do your Stone Cold. I'm like, yeah, it's happening right now. Like, I'm not doing this bullshit. But then they go up to somebody in this little chat. And what did he do?
Well, if you want Stone Cold to continue doing things the hard way, give me a hell yeah.
And you know what's funny? He won. He won that little contest. Yes, dude. What? It was good. And what's funny is that we talk about this all the time. This is how small the world is.
The world is such
Now,
a small list.
So I'm gonna segue into something here because that it was a long-winded story, but there's a reason. Is because there's a certain guy out there, and I'm going to ask you because there's a lot of casual people that watch this podcast. They're not going to know what the hell I'm talking about, but somebody out there had a problem with you eventually, and his name was Stone Cold E.T. Now, first of all, I'm going to ask you to explain what the fuck a Stone Cold E.T. is, and then I'm going to ask you to tell us what the hell happened with that said Stone Cold E.T.
This is the portion where I just sit back and watch and just
Stone Cold E.T. by I don't know how people were bored one day and he just became a viral sensation, driving up to Burger King's and whatever and doing a Stone Cold impression with an E.T. mask on. He was like, he was superhuman maybe like 5-10 years ago. That's basically the equivalent. Like he was just doing stupid stuff, but it got over with some godforsaken reason.
It really did.
And it got so big. Jordan, of course, he's like, why don't we bring him in? Like, for what? What are we gonna fucking do with this guy? And they're like, no, we'll figure out. I'm like, okay. And then, oh, we're gonna put him in the Rumble. What? Like, yeah, but you're gonna do something with him too. Like, you want me to do something with Stone? Okay. So okay. So then, day of the show, guys walking around, super nice guys walking around with the mask on, and we're trying to, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, even there, it's hard to kind of hear him through the mask. I'm like, the one of the other gentlemen that worked with Conrad. I'm like, Conrad, come over here. I'm like, should we do a test? Like, give him a mic, before maybe we can cut a hole in the mask. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay. So it gets to the showtime, and he comes out, does his thing. I got to give a shout out to the gentleman who made the music from Alex Yang. Fantastic. You never heard it. It's a Stone Cold and E.T. mix.
Oh,
it's actually fantastic. It's actually really, really
Tell
good.
me I could find that on YouTube, please.
You probably can. I think you might be able to. Yeah,
I'm going to have to look.
Stone Cold, you could probably find it.
I want to look that up now.
It's surprisingly good, yeah. So he comes to the ring and he starts talking. I have the headsets on along with them, so I can hear what he's saying. I think he's talking clearly. Apparently the crowd can't hear him. And they're booing him out of the building. Like 500 people, are booing him out of the building. I'm like, why it's in my head, and I'm trying to listen for my cue for when I have to interrupt him. So I'm not paying attention. All of a sudden, I take it off, and I'm like, whoa. When I take that, I hear the people start cheering. I'm like, fuck, isn't this? I'm supposed to be there. But I'm like, all right, let's fucking. So I just get in the ring and I try shitting on him, like, well, if you're gonna be Stone Cold E.T., I guess I'm Mr. McMahon right now. And who the hell do you think you are? So we get into each other's fan, like, you're not gonna come into, my ring and try and win the title. And then it led into a whole thing. I brought in my guys, the extra guys who I signed, and he brings in Malta the Damager and Big Daddy V, and it turns into a whole schmaz, and it culminated at the Rumble where he stuns me and eliminates me.
Oh wow, dude! I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been for a week straight since we set this up, I have been salivating to ask you about Stone Cold GT because it was Carlos. I've never heard of freaking
You never heard of Stone Cold DT?
No,
Okay.
you know who put me onto it? Carlos. Because he's the master of inane bullshit.
Yeah,
and he's like, yo, you gotta watch this. And he puts me on, and the fucking guy is ordering
we have
McDonald's.
Well, I just want to let you know, Carlos, it was thank you for all these weeks of watching the show. I'm pretty sure this is pretty much gonna be the last one now that we pretty much ripped you apart on the show. So,
listen, that was a compliment. He does show me some crazy bullshit.
He's famous for that. Yes.
What was his wrestling name again?
The Latin Rage.
This is the first time I've ever heard that was his name. So that's why we
really.
I've never.
Oh my god! Do you know how much I made fun of him back then? It was like,
listen,
dude,
this is opening doors for me right now. You don't
really
understand how much.
I would sit there and I'd be like, Latin Rage, dude. You realize you are like the least Latin motherfucker I know.
Yeah,
like, you are no, like you don't speak Spanish even. He's like, no, but I'm Latin Rage. I was like, okay.
I'm trying to find a way to transition back to what I had here. I think we're
we screwed up the whole interview.
Rip off the format. Yeah. Once you hear Latin Rage, you got everything goes.
He's gonna be happy because we talked about him so much.
Like, you have to understand, he's gonna want this clip. It's gonna be his phone ring from now on.
This is gonna be on Instagram and Facebook. You know that, right?
AJ, one of the things I'm going to transition to, it's something that like I'm very, Ed will tell you, I'm very big with the business side of it and like behind the scenes. But one of the big things now is we were talking about DIY, and I spoke about this earlier, was your merchandise. And for those who want to pick up an AJ Pan shirt, by the way, go to storefrontier.com /AJ-Pan. You can get all merchandise there. There you go.
Here somewhere.
Boom. Get that plug in there. What was the decision to go with Store Frontier and not Pro Wrestling Tees? I know a lot of independents like to go on ProWrestlingTees.com. Was it one of those things where it just more comfortable doing your own thing, not being tied up with being lost in the shuffle because of all the different wrestlers on it? What was the decision going into that?
To an extent, but more or less, like at the time when I was starting up, putting up a store, just Pro Wrestling Tees, they had a rule at the time, like you had to have a certain amount of followers, and through Twitter and Instagram before you. Then it was like a whole kind of, which I understand to a point. They were just trying to streamline it at the time. They didn't realize probably how big they were going to get, but to streamline it for more of the bigger name wrestlers. And I guess they didn't whatever their decision was, not my to get into, but. Yeah, it was. So obviously I wasn't at that level, being a commentator and a manager. So I just spoke to a few people and said, who do you guys use? And Store Frontier seemed, really good with their pricing. And it's pretty much, I supply the design, they send it out, they ship it, it gets in, got to people quickly. So seemed good. But nothing else. I went to the Pro Wrestling Tee store a couple of years ago when I was in Chicago. So I still might buy stuff from them sometimes. So nothing against them. Just at the time it was just difficult for someone like me to get myself on there, where now it seems easier, but I love Store Frontier, so stuck with them.
You know what? I've heard a lot of people say that, because even I always bring this up, and I feel like I'm the fucking the talk of shop-a-mania guy. I really am. But like I saw Rory Fox on there, and I was like, I'm gonna get you a t-shirt, man. And the only way they allowed him, I believe, to get a t-shirt on there was because he did it through the major figure podcast. Yeah, so it's like he didn't even get it himself. They had to get it for him. Yeah. So I did hear that something similar.
Yeah, I think it's easier now, but at that time it was just you need X amount of followers on Twitter, this amount on Instagram, and like a whole submit a little proposal. I'm like, I just want to sell some shirts.
Yeah, right.
Do you have your 90 page work papers for selling your t-shirts on road? I left 2 pages at home.
Listen, my question is
identification. You need a recommendation letter.
But who is looking at this? Like, who is sitting down going, I see you only have 499 people on your like the people that like you. Yeah. You needed 500, dude. I'm sorry.
Listen, Latin Rage said it was okay if I put my shirts on here. Latin Rage said it was okay. Another quick question too with the business side. You also did photography. Would you ever consider making that into your your thing as well in the wrestling business, doing photography and sort of adding another dimension for the DIY part of it.
I've done some stuff here and there, like whenever it's needed too. If I have my camera, or I'll shoot some stuff. Like one show I noticed nobody was like right after like a BCW show, nobody was taking pictures of our new women's champion that we crowned. So I just like, got you right here. Let me snap a couple of pictures. And that became promo pictures for a while. So, again, like I've taken many hats. So whatever's needed, I'll do to help out, because in the end, I just want business to succeed. I want to help out fellow talent. So if one succeeds, I'm one of the rare ones, I guess. But like, if one succeeds, we all succeed. So let's all try to make money together. But that's tough in wrestling to get everybody on that page.
And let me say it again, because I do this especially with all the indie guys. Guys, if you love pro wrestling, if you enjoy it, go out and support these guys. All right. This is how they make their living. This is how it allows them to keep doing this. You don't make a lot of money on the indies just by going somewhere. Maybe you'll get 30, maybe you get 200, but you're not getting a lot. All right. So buy the t-shirts. I'm going to buy his t-shirt. So again, guys, if I'm out there rocking if I'm out there rocking the A.J Pan t-shirt, don't get jealous. You could have bought one yourself. I'm going out there. I'm spending my money. I'm voting with my dollars. All right. And I expect everyone who loves pro wrestling to do the same. Support these guys, especially. And this is the next question I'm going to get into. So it's actually kind of perfect. We are in a pandemic. All right. Go out there. You need a mask? Buy one of their masks. All right. Buy one of their t-shirts. Go enjoy, man. So this is, again, I'm transitioning into it. I hate using that word so much, but that's the only thing that I can come up with. So I'm transitioning to asking about this. The pandemic, it looms large over us. It's the elephant in the room. Tell me, how have you dealt with it? And how do you plan on dealing with it in the future? Like, tell me about your future plans, because we all know the pandemic's not going anywhere anytime soon.
It's definitely been tough. I miss wrestling. I just miss the shows, miss crowds, miss interacting with people. It was the first 2 months when nothing was happening. That was really tough. Like, I'm sure like a lot of people just got into major depression. But after that, I just took the time and, again, like everybody, I like certain people, like I, bought a couple of people's t-shirts. Then I saw the people posting. There was at one point, I actually started doing a t-shirt challenge with Anthony Green, because him and his girlfriend Ava Everett, they were posting all of his old school t-shirts that he found while he was cleaning up. I'm like, dude, if you have some, like I have some, so let's do a little challenge, just for fun, post it online, get people to vote. So started doing that. I started doing a show on my Facebook Live once a week, and it was just fun for the time being. And then it grew into doing an interview, here and there, showing a match, and just then doing a live chat with whoever was watching, and that turned into something to keep me busy. It kept people who are not working and staying home for the time being engaged. So some time doing that. Spoke with my fellow wrestlers and talents, and what could we do? Took the time to and then for me revamping the gimmick a little bit and fit in. So the America's Favorite Agent maybe needed to sit back and reflect and realize that all along he kind of was a guiding light. He's guiding everybody to greatness, guiding the overlooked and getting them looked at, the underutilized, getting them placed on a stage. So all along I've been a guiding light, and now I just have to spread the wealth, and whoever wants a piece of the light, just follow it, and I'm going to help you.
Listen, you can also get PPE stuff. I just found out it's tax deductible, so you can start hooking them up.
Yeah,
at the end of the year, like help them out too.
we gotta work on that.
Exactly, that could be part of your. Listen, you're an agency, so
yes,
when you fill those taxes,
would you like to sign us?
Oh my God,
would you like to sign us? You can lead us to the promised land. More followers, more.
Yes, we're gonna work on. I just saw on the little thing I did on Instagram. Kevin Conley from Entourage gave us a repost. So.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Dude, thank you for that. Also, I did see it earlier, and I was like, God damn it, he has a beer. And I was planning the whole day. I was like, I'm gonna get like a nice little cup of wine. I'm gonna have it next to me. I'm just gonna chill it. And then when it was like like 9:40. I was like, oh fuck, I ain't chill anything. Like I have apple juice. Like
Yeah, I didn't know if you
how
had,
cool
like,
am I,
just-
right?
just let me do that and give a little preview and tag you guys and tag them on it. So
Well, what's funny is this will
Thank
be,
you,
and,
dude.
and we'll tell you. Thank you, by the way. But will be tell you this is the first time where I'm not like drinking anything during the show. Like,
Oh
I'll-
my god,
Put
that's
your
one of
drink
the
in.
things that
Here's to you guys.
no, see, but this is Randy. Like he person be talking to me, he's like,
boom.
and all you
There we
hear
go.
is like gulp, 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 gulp. And we were talking to Thunder Rosa, and she's talking, and Randy's here with his goddamn glass of water.
He's
And I'm
just
like,
getting sauced.
no, he's drinking water.
I'm
It's
like
like
water.
Like
I thought they were taking
100%
shots
fucking
and-
H2O. Yeah, and he's just fucking, he's gulping it. And like not even like sips, like not little like dainty sips. No, he's like a goddamn madman. He's like gulp, 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 gulp. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, hey, asshole, like she's in the middle of speaking, and I can't hear her. Because all I hear is gulp, 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 gulp. This is the one time he ain't doing that.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to transition back to
See how he's using it.
Get the heat off of Randy.
yeah. This is my comeback right now. This is where we go home. Yeah. You mentioned before about during the pandemic and social media platforms for independent wrestlers, and especially since you've been on the administrative side, how important is it, even with wrestling coming back with smaller crowds, is it for social media platforms and broadcasting platforms to get organizations on there and for talent to highlight themselves on these social media platforms? Again, someone who's been in the managerial commentary and behind the scenes role, love to get your perspective on it compared to the wrestler's perspective on it.
I think right now it's very important to make yourself prevalent on social media because there's nothing else going on. So don't out of sight, out of mind. So if you keep creating content right now, get people invested, they're going to want to pay to see you when things are back, especially since they've been deprived for so long. So yeah, it's like, don't sit back, oh, there's nothing to do. We have enough time right now to create something. And a lot of it might not be, the best topic to talk about, but like during the summer, I know that, there was the Me Too movement finally hit pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to get too much into it, but a lot of people who had top spots, guess what? They're gone. So it left a lot open. And it's kind of like we're working with a clean slate coming back. So now's the time. Get yourselves out there. Make yourselves known. Put up clips of past matches. Work on your gimmick. Get promos out there. Just promote yourself. And you're going to make yourself more valuable to promoters because they want to see your followers going up and your engagement. We're going to want to book you because we want people. When people are going to, oh, so-and-so's working here tonight. Let's go see them. Let's go see the show. That to me, it's a no-brainer, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So I would say just get yourselves out there. Try something. A lot of even your favorite people who are on TV now, sometimes they try something for a couple of weeks. Doesn't work. Sometimes it does stick and it becomes one of the biggest things ever.
Do you think
Yes.
like having the Twitches? I'm sorry, I'm for cutting you off, but having networks like Twitch and things like that, would that be good for independent organizations to air their show live? So therefore, it gives guys more opportunity to work. Have guys be able to be doing some announcing and do some promotion. Do you think that more independent promotions should be taking advantage of those type of platforms to air their shows to help get more notoriety? Because you go to Twitch, type in live wrestling, all of a sudden shows will come up.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think it's a great, especially again, like during now, or even like, a couple of weeks after the show, if you're not on like IWTV or any of those platforms, air it on there, do a live, get one of the bigger, your talents to promote it. He could do a live chat during it. And yeah, it's all about, you want to keep the people engaged. You want your fan base to know that they're valued and they want to have a good interaction because that they're going to want to come back and they're going to talk to their friends like, oh, we were talking to Darius Carter. He was doing a live chat during the show. He was going back and forth with us. We got to go check out his show next time it's there. That wrestling, especially in the indies, that's the beauty of the independents. It's the fan interaction. We get to be more, we're not playing to camera so much. We're playing to the crowd. So we can get that immediate interaction. We can be more face-to-face with them and like point out somebody. And, like right where instead of, on Raw, Randy Orton's just getting heat to the camera. We could pick out somebody in the front row who's, got a horrible t-shirt on and, got glasses on and we could, pick on him and get the crowd either, to hate us or get them to, laugh at him or whatever. But that's the beauty of it. So yeah, fan engagement, and yes, places like Twitch, Twitter, where you can engage, do live chats on, you know, whatever platform, on Instagram, Facebook. It's a no-brainer, I think.
You know, it's so funny that you mentioned like doing stuff like this during the pandemic, because that's how I started with Randy and our friend Wayne. We were on another podcast reviewing AEW just because we had nothing to do. They're still going strong with their this not AEW anymore. It's they do everything now. They even use Twitch, I believe, which is exactly what we're talking about. And that's how it is, man. You first of all, we're bored as hell. Normally we're stuck at home. We're not going out. We're not drinking. You saw like the bars just started opening here in New York. What
really? They're just opening now? They're just opening
yeah,
now?
they were
last Friday.
For inside. Yeah, last Friday for indoor indoor seating. Back it was outdoor, right? So
it was only outdoor, and during 20 degrees, you can't be doing that.
No,
yeah,
kidding.
you're not gonna have a beer. Yeah,
see,
Randy is like,
I'm like, never again. I'm not. This is ridiculous.
Never again.
Sitting out here
This
for a
is.
beer.
I'm shocked.
I talked to Randy. He's from Jersey, so he's like, I'm like, Randy, what are you up to? I'm going to dinner. I'm going to dinner every goddamn night. I'm like,
first off,
what is this dinner thing you speak of?
Okay, first off, two things with this. One, I don't sound like that. Second of all,
he does.
Second of all, you work in New Jersey and you have the restaurants right there.
No. I have what is it? I have the New Jersey's known for their what is it? I hate going to places like that.
I'm not taking the blame for this one.
Wow. No. Come on, help me. The diners, man.
The diners.
I cannot stand.
No,
I'm from New York City.
He
First
hates
of all,
diners. He hates them.
Yes, with an undying, unholy passion.
I'll come
Why
by
do
the
you
story.
hate diners?
Because they taste like nothing.
Listen,
They are just
no.
You find.
I have been to some of the best diners.
Some of them are good.
Listen, first of all, you're Italian, so you know what taste is. I'm Puerto Rican, so I know what taste is. Randy does not know what taste is, so he likes diners. I will not sit there and eat at a diner. I refuse. I might as well go to just get me some goddamn chicken nuggets at that point, because that's probably all I'm gonna get at the diner anyway.
If I had two good arms,
French fries.
If I had two good arms.
So it's the diner capital, and it kills me because I work there every day, but I'm a born and bred New Yorker. All right, I was born in East Harlem. I've lived here all my life. This is all I know. So I'm. You want some Japanese, some Thai food? Like, we have everything here.
That's
right.
True. That's true.
We don't have to go searching. So he gets mad at me because I just won't settle for diners.
No. Here's the reaction. AM, I'm gonna go to the Pump the Queen. Want something? I ain't eating that. I ain't doing that.
No, it's diner food, man. There's no salt on it. It's like for diabetics.
Ready? Here it comes. Em, you want to get some pizza? This ain't New York pizza. I ain't eating it.
It is not New York pizza.
I'll give him. I'll give him the pizza.
Exactly. Look, I'll take the point, man.
What's the other? Oh, the water. The water in New York is better than New Jersey.
It is better. AJ, you know what I'm talking about. You live in New York. We have some of the best water, and the water goes in the bread to make the pizza. Hence, New York pizza is better. It's not my fault. I'm sorry to all the listeners from Jersey. I love you guys, but you guys don't have really good pizza. I don't care. You can stack up your best pizza against ours. It's not going to compare.
I have to go with him on this one. I have to go with him.
If it makes him happy, Jersey has I'll give Jersey Wawa.
Yeah, so you guys do have Wawa.
Yeah, I love Wawa.
I will concede that point.
1 per 64. I guess I'll take the one win.
Hey, you got to take it, man. You got to take it where you can find it.
Hey, AJ, this is the part of the show. Real quick, we always say, if you want, let's let everybody know where they can find you on social media and on all your different platforms.
In other words, we've wasted enough of your time.
No, it's been a great time. I love it.
We actually had that little graphic that comes up saying, "We've wasted enough time. Time to plug."
I mean, we did spend too much time on Carlos, but the Latin rates. But...
We did, right? He's gonna be like, "You bastards."
So see, Larry, we gave you a segment. All right, you got a segment on the
Exactly. I just texted him too while we were talking. We're talking about you.
And then you're just like, what was about that time with that girl and that other? Never mind. Well, we'll talk. That's the after show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to go on the Patreon.
Yeah, we can't put Carlos stories on air at the bars.
Yeah, they're uncensored.
You'll get banned from Facebook.
Get banned from everything. I won't get to go to bars anymore.
But no, we'll stop. Tell us where we can find you. I'm sure most people already know where.
You can find me on Twitter at AJ Pan _PCA and on Instagram at AJ Pan PC.
Listen, I want to thank you on a personal note. First of all, we finally met. It's been how many? 20 goddamn years?
Yeah, 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was about time. It was going to happen eventually.
Yes,
we got it done. That's another milestone.
And, we'll get a drink one day soon.
Definitely.
Yes.
And we'll hang out in an indoor bar now.
Indoor, yeah. Because I ain't doing this shit standing out in the snow having a drink.
Listen, I'm supposed to get a vaccination. So.
Oh, wait.
Yes, I'm asthmatic, Randy.
I told you to do that.
No, I got so mad. Well, now New York just started it on Monday. Like,
you could have done it in New Jersey.
No, I can't. I'm not from Jersey.
Yeah, they're getting very strict about that.
I got my first one done already. I got my second one coming next week. So.
Yeah, and I got mad at Randy. I was like, "Wait a second!"
He's sitting there yelling at me. I'm like, "I didn't do anything wrong."
I didn't yell at him. I was just mad in general because what was explained to me was, hey, frontline workers, all these people, old people,
right, yeah.
And then finally people that have shit lungs like me. So I was like, all right, cool. Like I can wait. and then Randy's like, I am healthy as a fucking mule and I'm going to get one. I was like, what? You better be riding a fucking ambulance, you know?
I had like this whole thing, like if they asked me because they're like, so what, what's your case? I'm like, they didn't even ask me. They're like, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, cool.
See, he cheated his way in. He was like, yes, I'm an asthmatic.
I did nothing of the sorts.
Autoimmune disease. I need that shot now.
I really wish the show could have gone out on a higher note than this.
I outed him.
On that note, AJ, thanks for coming on the show
with
us.
Thank you so much, dude.
No, thank you for having me, man. I had a pleasure doing it, guys.
And that was a lot of fun. AJ was amazingly funny, loving talking Bobby the Brain Heenan, loved talking about the manager and the commentary role that he did. Just an overall great dude.
Dude, I was popping at the whole fucking E.T., the Stone Cold E.T. Come on. It's so funny because I saw that years ago. I had no idea he had like a little thing to do with him. And then he turned face against Stone Cold E.T. Now that's one I'm near and dear to my heart.
And if you guys want to support AJ, definitely go to his Store Frontier store, storefrontier.com/AJ-Pan. You can go there, support the independent wrestlers and the managers and all those who work on the independent scene. Every dollar counts, so definitely help them out. Again, storefrontier.com/AJ.PAN.
Listen, go out, get an AJ Pan t-shirt because, again, I don't want to hear any jealousy when I have mine. I'm rocking it everywhere. So go out and get yours. Be as cool as this guy right here.
And, of course, not only with AJ Pan and Damian Drake and Mike Law and all the great independent talent we've had on this show so far, but also follow us on YouTube, follow us all over the internet. We are on all the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast Network, and we're everywhere. And give us a good review, give us a 5-star review, give us a subscribe. And we're also on Twitter at Cut Wrestling BSP, backsportspage.com, and where else?
Hey, we're on Facebook, the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast, and Instagram, the Cut PW Podcast. So go on, subscribe, follow, like our stuff, leave us some reviews, throw out some comments, man. Like, get involved with the show. Listen, we're having a great time. We're bullshitting together about wrestling. What's not to love about this?
And also, you guys can follow me on my Instagram and Twitter at Randy BSP. And I believe, M, you're on Instagram.
I am on Instagram. It's at Raving Skull. So that's my handle. And you can follow me there. I normally am posting the exact same thing that the Cut Pro Wrestling is posting, and you'll probably get a picture of my dog every so often, or a meme about New Japan Pro Wrestling because I love them so much.
Special thank you to our producer, the guy who makes us look good every single week, Andrew Fumey. Thank you, Andrew. As always, he's one of our great producers. Guys, keep tuning in every single week. New episodes drop of the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much for making us a part of your week here on all the podcast platforms. But for Randy Zelia Back Sports page,
And I'm Rito Rivera from Level 1 Games, Pompton Plains, New Jersey.
we'll see you next time.